It's your boy, Mr. A1 since day one. Sage Scott, leader of the Midnight Tribe. And if I love wrestling, and you love wrestling, we love wrestling.
Welcome to the We Love Wrestling spot. My name is Terry, or Trady as you see. I'm with Harvey Harrington from Dream Chasers Basketball. And today, we have somebody I'm excited to have here. When I met him, he told me his character was Tupac and Killmonger. They told me that he's not a cruiserweight, but he wrestles in all the cruiserweight divisions. He is from South Central, I believe. Is that correct, sir? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We are with Mr. A1, Sage Scott. How are you doing today, sir?
Blessed and highly favored, my brother. Blessed and highly favored.
Man, Sage, before we even start, you are one of the first groups of people that we now do our Put Yourself Over moment. That's where we have you tell us any social media, any YouTube, any stores you have where people can go support you. We just ask for you to go ahead and put yourself over to our viewers.
Well, you know, I'm all about the put over, man. I've been putting over people. Now it's time for me to put myself over. My Facebook is Mr. A1 Sage Scott Pro Wrestler. That's the fan page. And I also have, well, I say supporters. You know, people pay to see you. They supporting you. They ain't really fans. And I also got my Twitter. I'm a little new to Twitter because I'm saying that's not really my scene, but it's necessary for what we do. It's S Trillmonger and Mr. A1 Sage Scott for my Instagram as well.
S Trillmonger?
S Trillmonger, yep. I also got a couple matches out on the YouTube. You can catch them on the ACW Florida or just typing in Sage Scott. Pretty much all my content, I got it to where all my content comes up from the last matches I've had over the last 3 years.
Love to see it. I got him. Sage the Trillmonger right here. Got him. Yeah. So you got to put yourself over moment out the way. So Sage, the first question I always ask on these spotlights, and let me click this follow on here. Bam, got you.
Yeah,
why did you love wrestling, or what started your love for wrestling?
Man, honestly, it was something that, you know, I don't know how. I don't want to make it like a black thing, but it's like I feel like in a lot of urban homes, you know, you weren't really allowed to be watching that. So we had to sneak and watch that. And I don't know where I was at. I met him in my auntie's house or my cousin's house, and you know, where over there off Crenshaw or whatever, you know, a lot of you can do what you want kind of like thing. You know, that's the type of family where, you know, mama don't really want you going over there too much. You might be subjected to bad influences or whatever. But I happened to have been catching the TV screen, and it was SmackDown on. I just saw Chris Jericho putting somebody in the walls of Jericho, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go home and put my sister in that, and that's exactly what I did.
That's
your sister,
though. You know, I had to put my sister in it. You know what I'm saying? My little baby sister. You know, I had to put her in the walls of Jericho. You know, that was the first thing. I said, you know what? That felt good, and I'm gonna keep watching this now after this.
Yeah, that's funny, man.
I gotta be real. You know, you start wrestling in the backyard and having your own little matches, and you started thinking, you know what? Maybe this could be something I could do, you know, in the future. But I'd be lying if I said it was my first love.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hey, what was your first love then?
Football. I pretty much everybody. Most people who know me best. They know that I played running back, and I played for USF for a little bit. You know, life happens, and you know, and maybe this is my calling because, like I said, you know, I love wrestling, but I always one of the guys that I don't know how you would get into wrestling. You know, when you grew up in the hood, you know how to get to the league. You work hard, you study, you know, you put out good tape, and you know, usually you'll end up somewhere, D1, D2, D3, JUCO, whatever. The avenues are endless. You know from an early age how to get into football, you know, but who is out here telling you exactly how to get into wrestling? You know, who knew what to do with that? So it just so happens that, you know, me being a class clown at the same time and cutting up in high school and in grade school, people knew me for doing little wrestling antics in the hallways, and you know, social media is something that I'm glad it came around, and when it came around, because people started tagging me in different schools, local schools that were affordable. Because when I did see schools growing up, they were like, outrageous prices. I was like, there's no way my parents will pay for that. There's no
Right.
way I'll have the money to pay for that. So, and it happened. I came across a school that happened to be pretty affordable for me. I went one day and I just never looked back. I kind of gave up football and then here I am.
That's dope.
So I saw some video of you before I saw you in a match live. And I was like, okay, cool. But then, like, actually seeing you wrestle live and seeing your size and everything, like you said, you used to play football. But there's a joke out here saying that you calling yourself a cruiserweight where there is no type of way that you're below 205 at this time. But
Hey,
how did that come about?
man, listen. First off, shout out to Aaron Nova, man. Shout out to Aaron Nova. We joking enough, and we got this little hashtag, Sage Guy's not a cruiserweight. It all started from, the early starts, they call it the growing pains of wrestling, where you just, kind of like carrying a clipboard in football, you kind of like curtain jerking. You might have an opening match. You come, you help set up, you help do music. And, him and I were kind of one of the two guys kind of like up and coming, but we wasn't really getting booked like that. And when I would get booked, me being so big, I would be always in these cruiserweight scrambles and cruiserweight, classics. And like, just, I'm in there with like, 110-pound guys and stuff like that. And he was like, you know what, we're going to run with this. I'm going to bring a scale to the ring and I'm going to make you step on it. You know what I'm saying? To prove you should even be in this ring. Because you 205 and under is cruiserweight, So we had this running joke that, I can't possibly be a cruiserweight. And I still have yet to step on the scale. Just to say that. We've been doing this for 3 years now. And I still have not stepped on the scale yet. So am I a cruiserweight? I don't know. And so I'm not going to disclose that information on this show. But I'm just saying that it's out there. Yeah. We small, we big at the same time. That kind of thing.
We can't get that exclusive for the show.
I don't know if that's in budget. I don't think you. Trey, I like you, but I don't think you can afford that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Wait.
I mean, I ain't paying for no weight.
It's been some promotions trying to get that information out for about 2-3 years now, and if I disclose it right now, that could be some problems. There could be some problems. All right.
What if we get you 50 followers on Twitter?
Oh.
I mean, I might be able to give you. All right, I might be able to get them first two numbers. I might be able to get them first two numbers. Definitely the first two numbers.
Oh, man.
So I want to go into, because I met you in, where was it? Was it Brandon, Florida? At the GCW 14 Diamond Cup. And we had a small conversation, but you said something to me that like really caught my attention. You said that you base your stuff going off of Tupac and Killmonger. And that day I was just like, I'm going to stop and I'll wait till we do the spotlight to ask you more about that. So we are here. So how do you incorporate those two in your character?
Well, for me, I grew up idolizing Tupac. For everything he stood for,
Absolutely.
being a strong, black, positive, unapologetic brother. And I just figured, and coming, even obviously, he ain't from California, but, representing that area, I'm saying that he's still beloved everywhere, but definitely in the state of California. So it's like, for me, I wanted to, and I'm watching wrestling. I never seen anybody like, people pay homage to all different type of people from all different type of realms, but I never seen anybody incorporate something like that. And for him to be so near and dear to me, I kind of like base my life off his ideology. You know what I'm saying? He says a lot of things, a lot of people like to point out that, and I feel like they do that with all brothers. They like to point out more than negative, and they don't really hone in on the positive, know. They'll dwell on him doing diss tracks and stuff like that, but don't think about some of the poetic stuff that he said, and a
Right.
lot of other songs that he has. They want to focus on the charges he might have had, or they
Right.
don't think about all the stuff that he did for the community and stuff. So that for me, what I'm saying, it's just it brings a real aspect to it, because people gonna feel what they feel about wrestling, but I feel like if I can be true to myself and be true to what I believe in, and make people more of a believer
Right.
in myself. So, and then the Trillmonger, which I coined that from the Killmonger. People look at that movie, and like you think about, he's an antagonist, but is he really the antagonist? Think about what his message was. His message was basically the same as Tupac, empowering his own people. We've been down and out for however so long, hundreds of years, and we finally now starting to get somewhat of a little bit of a shine. So, it's about us pretty much restoring us to where we should have never fell from. You know, we were kings and queens, you
Right.
know, in the motherland, and why shouldn't we be that now? So, you know, basically it's just black excellence, black power type.
Right.
Exactly there. Yes, point at it, brother. Point at it. So that's where that come from. That's where that come from. I watched that movie over and over, not just for the cinema, but it's just the fact that I'm a comic book buff and I love comic books, but the portrayal of of Tupac and the portrayal of Killmonger in Black Panther movie is really 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 resonates with me. You know what I mean? I feel like I almost feel like I should have played that role almost. I'm like, man, this was me, if I could think of any role I could have ever did on any movie, that would have been it right there.
That's crazy.
Jump in that, Harvey.
And so what you're based off of, how rich in heritage, and you talked about Tupac. How are you, is this? Do you think this is stuff that you're doing, and how your persona is? Do you think that's opening the doors for the young black kids that are coming behind you? Because I remember, I'm not real current with wrestling, but when I watched it coming up, I didn't see a lot of, Trill Mumbers. I didn't see, you know what I mean? Do you feel like the way that you're setting your path and the way you're going through this and how you're going through it, do you think this is setting the stage for young black kids that want to be the next A1?
I mean, the jury's still out. I think it's a little too early to say, but
Okay.
I'm thinking I'm trending in that direction.
Okay.
I do get positive feedback. I get positive fans, coming to me at different shows. Whether when we did have, a bunch of fans at different shows before the pandemic, I still get emails and messages like, hey, my you really did something for my kid. My kid wants to get into wrestling. Probably the sweetest thing about it is, I got 3 boys, and
Right.
like I'll catch them, wrestling around the house, and and they'll fight over who gets to be Sage Scott. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
you're like, no, I'm gonna be Sage Scott today. This, that, and the other. Like, and I'm like in my head, like I'm your dad. Like you could be, all 3 of you could be
All
Sage
of
Scott.
you, you are me.
You are me technically. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then
So,
the other thing I would think is very sweet about it is because I got my sister, like I said, the same sister that I put in the walls of Jericho. That sister, she has a little boy. She has
Right.
a little boy, and he's not again not a wrestling fan. She doesn't really watch wrestling like that either. But she turned him on a couple of my matches on YouTube, and now all of a sudden he wants to be like his uncle. He wants to go to all the shows now. He
Right.
wants to take on the now family business. So.
right.
I'm hoping that that's a small sample size, but if I continue doing what I'm doing, I'm hoping that that's the outcome.
Well, I tell you what, from being on this and just talking to you today, my kid's about to start watching you. You know what I mean? I'm a fan already. Like everything that you said is oozing in the stuff that we love, rich in our heritage and stuff like that. I love hearing this stuff. Go ahead, Trey D.
All right. I'll just put you over a little bit more too. I showed my son a little bit of it, and the first thing he said, he was like, "Is his tights like Black Panther tights?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like,
It's dope.
because my son's like a big Black Panther fan. Like, and
Right.
still I could say that's probably the only Marvel movie that we can sit down and watch, and it's like the first time watching it, and don't
Right.
want to skip nothing on it.
Hmm.
The first Marvel movie of all of them, if anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Mhm.
let's
And by
talk
the way, if you go by the years, he's actually one of the oldest comics they got. It's funny that they're just not coming out with that. See, a lot of people don't know that.
Right.
Blade, all those Blade movies, Blade, that's Marvel too. So
Right.
they just it's just funny how everything's coming full circle now. It's like those are the movies you should have been came out with.
Right. Right.
Now this does bring an interesting topic to my head, or an interesting question. With everything you represented and all that we going through, and Harvey said earlier, growing up, he didn't see like a lot of trailmongers or black wrestlers around. Do you ever like in these days now get any like people trying to stop you from what you're doing with your wrestling, or like, oh, maybe you should calm that down a little bit. We see what you're doing and everything.
Well, yeah, oh yeah. I've actually, I'll feel Harvey, and I got a faction. I got a group called the Midnight Tribe. Start off as three guys, now it's five of us. It's a 5-man faction. One of the guys who's actually up in Detroit right now. But I kind of want to run like a Black Bullet Club. So where we kind of like we're together, but we'll be at different shows. We'll pop up everywhere. That type of thing. And believe it or not, the name Midnight Tribe, they was rubbing some promoters the wrong way. They tried to tell me I need to change my name. We don't need to go by that, and it's offensive and it's racist. But I'm like, to whom?
Right.
To whom does that defend?
Right.
And I'm not getting any brothers and sisters coming in my emails and my DMs saying, hey man, that you need to tone that down. It's never that. So if it's not defending them, then who is it defending? So, I mean, I've been told I was, being too loud with, with some of the speaking out things when people were speaking out on different promoters for calling them out on some of the, injustices that they were portraying and racist comments and stuff. People were trying to tell me that, hey, you don't want to lose your spot on some of these rosters. You should probably tone down how you feel about this stuff. I'm like, if holding your little tin can belt is gonna be a problem, with me speaking my mind
Right.
and standing up for my people and what I believe in, then you can have your belt back.
Right.
And actually, I gave a belt back because of that cruiserweight championship. I don't have no more because I handed it back to the promoter.
It's dope, man.
Especially in this last year with everything going on.
Right.
I mean, if you speaking out and somebody trying to silence you, I mean, that's on y'all, because we not being quiet no more. I done had a couple of run-ins with a few promoters who don't really prefer everything that we do on our platform, but it's our platform, so we can do what we want.
Right.
Exactly.
So say just now we gotta talk a little bit about the wrestling, because I had some guys on here last week, brought you up, said if y'all want that smoke, they available for it. Then maybe 2 days later, I see you get announced in the match for GCW, the Love of Wrestling 3, the Midnight Tribe versus.
Let's get it.
Oh wait, was it the Midnight Tribe and Edgestone, or was it?
Yeah, Midnight Tribe. We're gonna be teaming up with Edgestone.
That's a scary team.
Yeah.
against Task Force and the guy you just mentioned, Aaron Nova.
Aaron Nova. Yeah. Yeah. Task Force, Space Force, whatever you want to call it, a little, Power Ranger group they got going on. And they walk around saying, yeah, Sage wants to smoke, yeah, because, by the way, I love Street Profits, but I've been saying that before them. I'm just going to put that out there. Love them. They my brothers, so they can have it. They can have that, too. Ain't like that's just brothers sharing brotherly stuff. I can get all that. That's not, but, yeah, these guys talking about, yeah, because I do want the smoke. I come around at every promotion because I ain't come here to make friends with these cats. I came here for the smoke. I'm leaving with all the smoke. That's just how I roll at. So Task Force, Space Force, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, whatever you want to call them, and Buzz Lightyear want to come and roll up on the Midnight Tribe.
Buzz Lightyear.
Run up, get done up, man. You know how it is. You know the rules of the game.
Hold on, wait. Did you just call Aaron? No. Wait a
Buzz Lightyear, bro.
Buzz Lightyear.
Stop the interview.
Nice,
Hey, cut the interview.
he's got some nice galactic fans and stuff like that. Every time I see him, it's to infinity and beyond. That's how I feel.
Oh man, the Love of Wrestling 3 is gonna be on February the 13th in Stanford, Florida, at CrossFit Exalted. Ticket information, go to GenerationChampionshipWrestling.com. Trust me. Say, Scott, when you see this man in the ring, you're gonna be very impressed by what he can do. When I saw him, I automatically became a fan of him.
Appreciate it.
So when I saw him live, I became a bigger fan. Let me say that correctly. So Sage, I'm very asked this, and I hate to do it. I always ask this question, and it's random when I ask it. The Rock or Stone Cold?
Oh, come on, man, The Rock.
Yeah, there it is. You gotta say nothing else. What's up, Harvey?
I ain't. Look, we got my interview. This is my new favorite wrestler. Let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at that. That's my favorite wrestler now. I'm dead serious. I'm about to rep.
Hey, you can go either way with that one. You really can go either way with that. You know what I'm saying?
I tell him it's no right or wrong answer to that question.
That's really no right or wrong answer. But I know one thing. As a child, The Rock was one of the only wrestlers that would make me cry when he lose. So that was the thing.
That damn. Kind of think
crazy.
about it, that's some real shit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Look at how they booked him back then. It they gave you a real sympathy vote with him, man. You know what, man? He come out there one day, he'd be in a handicap match against the Douglas, and then the next night he's like about to be the WWE champion. So it's like they kept the suspense going with him.
Right.
It's probably why he didn't have that many world title reigns, but the chase was what grabbed you. Like, man, I hope he get it. I hope he get it.
Right.
And me coming from the ghetto, I ain't own we ain't had the money for no pay-per-view, so I had to holler at one of my little white friends. Hey man, what happened on the weekend?
Right.
I feel that. Hey,
that's real.
I know more about that than I want to even talk about.
A1, his name is perfect because he keep it A1 because that's what it is.
I love it. So I got to ask this before we get out of here. I got to ask just maybe two more questions. Who were some of your favorites growing up? I know you said Chris Jericho was the first one you saw in the walls of Jericho, but that he may be your favorite, he may not be. But growing up, who were some of the people that was your favorite?
Well, Undertaker, you gotta have him in there. That's a given. I'm gonna shock a lot of people because I feel I'm like I said, it's not always about the wrestling with me growing up. I was a big Mark Henry fan. I'm a big Farouk fan. And I kept it. I love Jacqueline. I love Jacqueline growing up for more reasons than one. But she was oh yeah. So I don't want to keep it so pro black, but that if I'm gonna be real, that's they really did it for me. Eddie Guerrero, just being able to do both, and like I said, it's some guys right now who I look at the same way, because they kind of like embody kind of like what I would see myself as,
Right.
more like a Bobby Lashley or something like that right now. Somebody I feel, or Cedric Alexander, who can do both, be a power guy, be a speed guy, show athleticism, but we kind of all kind of got that, what I'm saying? That's just that's for being a brother, what I'm saying? We just multi-talented like that. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like when you see that, it's like, all right, we go another one, you know what I'm saying? That's how we look at it, you know what I'm saying? We got so many, so.
I already know. Best
I
thing.
got a question. I got a question for you.
What's up, brother?
What does your training regimen look like? You know what I mean, to keep you going. What is your take me through, like, I know typically maybe you have matches or certain things coming in, you got to fine tune, but like give me like 4 weeks going into a match. What is don't give me everything, because I know you might have some secrets, but what does the training regimen look like for you?
Training regimen for me is if I know the week before a match, I kind of slow down my heavy lifting. I lift heavy. Like I break it down to where it's like 6 months out of the year I'm lifting heavy. The other
Okay.
6 kind of like fine tuning.
Okay.
But even when I'm fine tuning, I find 1 week out of that month to go heavy, and then the week of a match it's be more like 70% cardio, 30% training, because I want to tone back. I don't want to be stiff, like a robot in the ring. And honestly, get a lot of ice ready. And I've been going to the chiropractor a lot. A lot of rest. I want to give that. I want to make that a very, very a thing that I want to just like push out as far as information. There's a lot of things, a lot of misconceptions about going to the chiropractor that a lot of people don't realize. You come out of the womb, out of alignment, So you need to, you need to make sure that you're walking right, that your balance is not off, because it's those small things that can come back and bite you later on in life. So I'm definitely at the chiropractor, at least once a week, and I'm getting straight and just making sure, because at the end of the day I'm wrestling, but I got kids too. I want to be able to go outside and, be dad, when the lights are off. So.
Absolutely.
I got some other secrets, but like I said, I can't give him everything. I can't.
Right.
That's just a small sample size.
Right. Compared to, I know you was a big time football guy too. Compared to football, wrestling and football, is it kind of like around the same level of how you work out, or you know what I mean? Did football prepare you well for wrestling?
I was gonna say, yeah. I think football was a really good prerequisite, because I think this would be a lot harder if I wasn't already coming from football.
Right.
It's a lot less running, I feel, because you kind of like, it's different when someone's telling you to run, and when you kind of like you're your own coach when you're a wrestler, So you ain't got nobody, telling you. I mean, some people got trainers, but I don't need no trainer. I just kind of like go off my own pace. But and like I said, it comes from that discipline already of having that from playing football for so long. And like I said, a little less cold tubs now. Tell you that, a lot less cold. I ain't taking too many dips like I used to. You know what I mean?
Right. That's dope.
All right. So here we go. Last question I'm going to ask Mr. Say Scott 81, because I always ask this at the end of spotlights. If there were 3 people that you could face, who would those 3 people be?
Of any time, doesn't matter.
Anytime.
Doesn't matter when.
I do ask for one to be current, but anytime.
I was gonna do kind of like past, present, but I wouldn't say future, because I guess they kind of like that kind of will run in the same, because a lot of the people who was present gonna be there probably in the future. So I guess we can probably go. I'll probably reach way back and go, just because I feel like 2 body guys, it would be like really, really dope. Is me and Ultimate Warrior.
Oh.
I feel like that'll cause a nice little stir. Only because, like I said, with my gimmick and what I got going on, you got to have somebody who's like the antithesis of that. And I feel like, man, I don't know why, but I just feel like Ric Flair would be like the perfect,
Yep.
kind of opposite to how I think. You know what I'm saying? Like Ric Flair would be perfect for that, and he'll sell his ass off for me. So it'd be the best of both worlds. And one guy I already mentioned, because I'm a big mark for him right now. On the lowest mark is Bobby Lashley.
Some hurt business. Like Big E said, big meaty men slapping meat. Pause.
Yeah.
Pause.
Yeah.
Pause that. Pause that. Take your time. Pause.
Yeah, take your time. Yeah. We got all night, brother. You ain't pause that. Pause that.
Oh, man. Oh, listen. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, wait a minute. What are they talking about? I thought they were talking about wrestling. What happened here?
This thing went left.
This took a dark turn. I don't know what happened. Did somebody get this train back on the rail? Somebody get this train back on the rail.
Before we close out.
Cut tape.
Let me tell you.
Go ahead, man.
Before I tell you one last, before I let you do your last question, he's a fool, man. After the Diamond Cup down there in Florida, man, he cut this speech that was off the top of his hand, just off like he picked up this little trophy and just talked about he wanted to thank his mom and everything. It's hilarious.
Yeah, my acceptance speech, you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
I had a whole acceptance speech, bro.
I tell you, I had to have my Kanye West moment, you know?
Right.
He had me cracking up. Like in the moment, I didn't realize that he said something and I walked away, and then I came back into the and he was talking about the Piggly Wiggly, but man, I'm gonna put it at the end of this so y'all can see it also. And like so right when this ends, then boom, y'all can click on it. Y'all be like, y'all can see what I'm talking about because it's ridiculous. But before we go, all right, you got any last questions? Because if we keep over here, he gonna start clowning. I don't think I'm gonna be able to take it.
No,
yeah,
man,
you know me. I'm gonna cut it up in a minute here.
Yeah, like I said, man, I enjoyed this interview with you. Definitely, like I said, I'm definitely a big fan. I was actually watching a lot of stuff on my phone. Definitely gonna support you, bro. So,
I appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Trey D, you gotta put his stuff up one more time when you roll this back. You know, to make sure that everybody got all his info. And like I said, we tuning in, man, for sure.
Appreciate it, man, brother. Thank you.
Run back the put yourself over moment. I mean, so you know, he told us his Instagram is, I got it right here, Mr.A1_Sage_Scott.
Yes, sir.
It'll also be at the bottom in the YouTube video where you can see it. On Twitter, he said we can get him 50 followers. Go follow him so we can find out his weight.
I will step on the scale.
Monger. S Trill Monger. That's
Trill.
TRILLMONGR. Trillmonger. On Facebook, what you say it was on Facebook?
Mr. A1 Sage Scott Pro Wrestler.
Go to the fan page. If you come across his real page and he don't know you, don't be clicking on that trying to be friends. And I mean, he might accept.
You know, I'll add him, but then I'll carefully divert him to the fan page. I don't turn away no supporters.
Right.
Well, there you have it right there, people. Midnight Tribe, look out for him. Look, I'm gonna just look. Midnight Tribe, look out for them. They added some people to them. What they doing out here is real good, and they real scary. I mean, some of them people he got with them is like ridiculously big. So,
hey, the goal is to be drifting gold for the end of the year, man. 2021's got to be the year.
Gold all 2021. So at the Love of Wrestling 3, before I close out, they're teaming with Edge Stone. So this is just me talking. I'm just going to let you guys know. Edge Stone is a powerhouse. He just won the Legend of the Medallion. He's teaming with them. Aaron Nova Task Force, unless y'all got some tricks up y'all sleeve, you're probably going to lose. That's just me talking. So
pretty much.
Midnight Tribe wins.
Yeah.
And I think their trajectory, Mr. Gomez, should go to the Metro Brothers, and we can start off their 2021 getting some gold because the Metros at some point got to lose them belts. I mean,
you know what's funny too, man? You know what's funny? Because I'm looking at this match against Space Force as a preseason game because we didn't really got to show up. We can beat them, but
it's a preseason.
We can come with D game and it's gonna be a blowout. So we not even on the same level. But the Metro Brothers is an interesting matchup because you know my first ever match ever was against the Metro Brothers, and they handed me a nice little ass whooping. So I would love to return the favor and make them a little bit lighter in those wrestling bags when they go home. You know what I mean? If you know, if you catch my drift, you know what I mean? Yeah. Oh yeah. It's gonna be some of
All the
that big.
smoke.
Give me the loot. Give me the loot. But I want you. I want your belts.
We want to see it. We want to see
All
it.
the smoke. He want
Matter of
all the
fact,
All
smoke.
that smoke. Give me it. I want all of it.
I know you watch these, Mr. Gomez. You don't even got to send me no message. You don't got to send me Mr. 81 no message. Nobody. If they win, when they win, at
When
the
they
World
win.
Wrestling 3, I
Right.
did just see you announce that y'all gonna be doing some Mania weekend, April 9th and April 10th. Make the match happen
That's it.
by any means necessary.
Malcolm X, brother. That's
Yeah,
how we
boy.
roll.
Yeah,
That
boy.
We're gonna go and get up out of here, people, because you know you enjoy these and you love these conversations. What day we gonna drop this? I'm not gonna let you know. When you're watching it, you know it dropped. But
Tell them that's big old facts.
big, I'm like, hey, one more
You
thing.
know I had to
I'm glad
drop. Hey, you know I had to drop my catchphrase. Now, why would
Okay,
I not? Why would I
okay.
come up here and not do my catchphrase? Come on,
Big
man.
old facts.
Big old facts.
And not the other thing that, because if y'all watch Task Force, they said something, and I was just like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
because you know Mikey's had a Harvard grad education, and he likes to say large elderly statement, which you know that brother lost. He just lost. That's it. He need to tune up. I'm gonna give it to him on February 13th. Don't worry.
Tune in. It'll probably be available after on the Title Match Network. But as you know, if you go to our Instagram, we LUV Wrestling, we'll keep you up to date on all things happening in Generation Championship Wrestling. We are on as sponsors for this. Just know that. But Harvey, Dream Chasers, man, I thank you for joining us on this first spotlight.
No
We'll do
doubt,
many
man.
more with you because you know we in cahoots.
Glad
Mr.
to be on.
81, say
Yes,
Scott.
sir. Yes, sir.
Midnight Tribe. I don't think people understand. I talked to this man on December 4th and told him that we needed him on. And it's finally happened. So I'm happy. We
Mm.
made it happen.
Well, I appreciate y'all having me on, man. We gotta do this again, man.
Man, you
Gotta
got,
do it
Appreciate
again.
you, bro.
you got an open door policy. And if you get the match on April 9th for Mania weekend, we coming back on and talk about it.
Oh,
Got
buddy.
yeah. Oh, yeah. We got to reminisce on that ass whooping. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I'm in the building. I got a seat.
I just thought about that. Speaking of which, maybe I can get Task Force to come on here and talk with you.
Oh, Trey want all the smoke. He want
All
all the
of
smoke.
it.
Yeah.
All the smoke. I wonder if
Harvey,
I
will you look at this? Will you look at this? You look at this. He's trying to get all the talent on his show. He's trying to get all the talent on his show. He want something else.
at the same time against Ed Stone and Midnight Trial. I want all that. And Ed's probably gonna
He's trying to double book right now. He is something else.
I want to face off.
He's trying to break the internet all in one
That's what
night.
he trying to
I
do.
want to face off.
He's trying to break the internet.
Harvey.
Hey, you know what? You get that? You get that? I'll step on the scale that night. How about that?
Oh, wait.
if-
Yo, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Yeah. He stopped.
He said he'll step on the scale. Let's get to
He'll
it.
step on the scale that night.
That night, because you know, Mikey ain't gonna let me. He gonna talk about it all night. So I might as well just step on the scale that night.
If we get that, we gonna go live with it too. We
Let's
don't even
get
go
to it.
live, but we
Let's
will go
get to it.
live on Twitch,
Let's get it.
YouTube, Facebook.
It's the age-old question. It's got to get answered. People want to know. The people want to know how much I weigh, which whatever.
We about to have a whole thing. It's coming. Let me get out of here because he just got me hyped and I need to get to work on this, people. But as you know, I'm Terry. Trady. Well, you see it don't matter. Just call me Terry or Trady, whatever you want to call me. But like I always say, if I love wrestling and you love wrestling, then we love wrestling. It's too sweet.
Hi, to you.
Hey guys, how you doing? You should be here.
You should.
Shame on you, but have a nice day.